In this video, I want to talk about some methods for selecting documents and copying and pasting. So I'm continuing with my image that I was working in the last one, where I have an extended canvas. And basically what I've done is I've made my canvas larger so I can paste another image in right next to it. So I'm going to go over to my other image that I have opened up. And I'm going to, sorry, I already had it selected, so I deselected it. What I want to do is to make this an active selection, and then I'm going to copy it. So to copy it, I want Photoshop to know what I'm copying. That's why I make the active selection first. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Control-A, or that's Command-A if you're on a Mac. But I'll also show you where to go if you don't want to learn the keyboard shortcut. You're going to go to Select from the main menu and choose All. And it tells you the keyboard shortcut there, Control-A. And what you'll see now are what are called marching ants all around the image, meaning that the image has an active selection. So I'm now going to copy it, and I can use the keyboard shortcut Control-C or Command-C if you're on a Mac, or I can go up to Edit, Copy, and now whatever is inside my selection has been copied. I'm going to go back over to my original image and paste it. I could use Control-V for the keyboard shortcut, or go to Edit, Paste, and my image pastes in. Now, because they were shot with the same camera, they are the same size. It always is going to paste in directly into the middle of my picture. So I need to take my Move tool, which is the very first tool on my tool list here, or the keyboard shortcut just V. And with that selected, I can click and drag. I can also use the arrow keys on my keyboard to nudge that picture over and put it onto the side. And there we go. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to actually undo that, and let's do something else. I'm going to go back over to this other image, and I'm going to do Control-D to deselect my marching ants. And now let's say I don't want to have the entire image. I just want to make a selection of the two of them. In my next videos, I'm going to talk about all the selection tools, so I'm just going to start right now with a couple of the simple ones. The rectangular marquee tool. It's my second tool on my toolbar. If I click and I hold down, I see a whole bunch of other selection tools. I'm just going to work with that one. And I'm going to work with this tool by clicking and dragging and making a selection over the area that I want to copy. And I let go. So now just this area will copy. This is my active selection. I'm going to do the keyboard shortcut Control-C and go back over into my other image by clicking on the tab and Control-V to move it over. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut V to get my Move tool, or I could just take the Move tool, and now I can click and move it over. And so now I have room I could add a couple of other images. So the sequence of shortcuts, if you're going to select an entire image from one document and go over to the other, is Control-A, Control-C, click into the other one, Control-V to paste it. V for the Move tool, and then move it over. Alright, so let's do a couple of other examples of different scenarios that you might come across. I'm just going to step backwards here, and I'm going to go to another image. So now let's talk about another kind of scenario when you want to copy and paste an image in that is larger than your original image that you're pasting into. If I look up here in my tabs, I have this other image I've been working with, the red flower image. And I'm viewing this at 16%. So that's just something to take note of. I look at these other images and they all appear to be about the same. But if I'm viewing these at 50% and this one at 16% and make it appear the same, it means that this image is a lot larger. So I'm going to go through the same steps of copying and pasting, and then we'll see how to transform our image to make it smaller. So again, I'm going to go through the steps, Control-A, Control-C. I'm going to click on the tab for my target image, Control-V. And wow, it takes over everything, and I just see a corner of this image. It's all there. It's not showing up, but it is all there. Another thing to notice is how it came in automatically on its own layer. For your first project, the painted image, I had you create your own layers, your new layer. So when you're copying and pasting things in, you don't have to create a layer first. Photoshop is automatically going to put it in onto a new layer. So I need to make this layer smaller. I'm going to go up to Edit, Transform, Scale. And the keyboard shortcut for this is Control-T, as in transform. And I get a bounding box around my image. I can't see all of the sides. I'll minimize my history panel because the image is so large, but it's enough to start. I'm going to grab the corner of one of my bounding boxes here, an anchor corner. So this is important. I'm not grabbing a side. I'm grabbing a corner, and I'm going to hold the Shift key down, and I'm going to drag in diagonally to the middle. So why am I grabbing a corner and why the Shift key? That locks the proportions. I'm going to temporarily let go of my mouse and the Shift key at the same time, move my mouse into the image, and it switches to become a move tool. I can now click and drag and move my image up a little bit, and I can start to see a little bit more of those bounding boxes, but this image is still so large. So if I just click and drag without holding my Shift key, I can really distort my image. I can drag it anyway, and I don't want to distort it. So I'm going to hold that Shift key down, and I'm dragging in from the middle. And if I did this, resizing from one of my anchor points on the sides, it's not going to lock the proportions, and I'll end up distorting my image. So that's why I take a corner anchor point, hold my Shift key down, and I'm clicking and dragging, and then repositioning my image until I get it to be about the right size. And incidentally, if I haven't committed to my transformation, I can make my image larger, but once I have committed to my transformation, I can't make it larger without doing resampling, as I talked about in the last video. That would damage my image. There is a way, and it's called using smart objects. I'm going to get to that a little bit later on in the semester. So right now, I have my image about the size that I want, so that I can fit both of them onto the canvas, and I'm going to click Commit. So just again, to notice, here's my background image over here, and it's currently locked, which means I can't move it around. I extended my canvas so that I could paste in another image. This image was too large, so I did Control-T to transform it and make it smaller. If I did want to unlock my image, I could right-click on it, and pretty sure there's an option to choose Unlock, but I'm actually not seeing that, so maybe not. Maybe that's something that they've changed. I can do it the old-fashioned way, which is grabbing that lock and dragging it into the trash can, and now that's just called Layer 0. And the benefit is now I can use the Move tool on that layer, when previously, I couldn't move it because it was locked. And I could also transform this layer. I could go to Control-T, and I could transform the content on this layer. And my computer sometimes freaks out a little bit. Hopefully that didn't happen to you. I think that just has something to do with how Photoshop was installed. So hopefully you didn't get that black screen as well. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next video.